My name is MeeMee, and I am 31 years old. When I think about the beginning of this story, it feels quiet, not sad, not happy, just quiet, poor. At that time, my life was very simple. I woke up every morning before the sun. I made tea in the same old cup. I looked out of my small window and watched people walk to work. Some days felt long. Some nights felt even longer. I was not broken, but I was lonely, and loneliness has a soft sound. It is not loud. It does not cry. It just sits beside the heart and waits. Before he came into my life, love felt very far away. I had friends. I had a job. I had a small home, but inside, something was missing. Every evening, I came home to silence. New footsteps. Just the soft sound of the fan and the light from my phone. I used to lie in bed and look at the ceiling. I would ask myself small questions. Does anyone think about me right now? Does anyone miss me? The answers were always quiet. I wanted something very simple, not excitement, not drama, just someone who would sit next to me and stay, someone who would see me. That was all. He did not come into my life like a movie. There was no music, no magic moment, no perfect timing. He came into my life on a normal day. I was sitting in a small cafe near my apartment. I was drinking coffee. I was scrolling through my phone. I was not waiting for anything. Then he sat across from me. He smiled. Not a big smile, not a charming one, just a soft, gentle smile. His eyes were calm. His voice was slow. He listened when I spoke. He did not rush. He did not interrupt. For the first time in a long time, I felt safe while talking. Something in my chest felt warm. Not love. Not yet. But something close. We began to see each other often. Small walks. El comer is quiet talks. Simple meals. Nothing felt heavy. With him, I did not need to pretend. I did not need to be funny or strong or perfect. I could just be Maya. And that felt beautiful. Slowly, I started to imagine things. A small home with a warm light. Morning tea on a quiet balcony. 2 cups instead of 1. For the first time in years, the future did not feel empty. It felt soft. It felt possible. But even in soft dreams, small shadows can appear. Sometimes, when I asked him about his past, he became quiet. His eyes would move away. His smile would fade. It was like a door inside him slowly closed. I noticed it. But I told myself it did not matter. Everyone has a past. Everyone has pain. Love felt too warm to question. So I stayed quiet. I was close to him, but never fully inside his heart. He held me, but something inside him always felt far away. So I tried harder. I became softer, kinder, muddy, patient. I loved him with my whole heart, and I did not see that he was loving me with only half of his. I did not find the truth in a big moment. There was no screaming, no dramatic confession, no door slammed behind anyone. The truth came quietly, like a cold wind entering a warm room. And once it entered, everything inside me changed. It was an ordinary day, the kind of day that should not become a memory. He was in the shower. His phone was on the table. The screen lit up with a message. I was not trying to look. I was not searching for secrets. I was not that kind of woman. But the phone was close. The message was bright. And my eyes saw it before my heart could protect me. A name, a name I had never seen before, and a sentence that did not belong to me. It was not romantic, like in movies. It was not even poetic. It was simple, too simple. The kind of message someone sends when they already have a long history. My breath stopped. For a few seconds, I just stared at the screen, like my mind could not understand what my eyes were showing. Then another message came, and another. Small words, soft words, familiar words, the kind of words he never used with me. My fingers felt cold. Not because the room was cold, because my body already knew something my heart had not accepted yet. When he came out of the shower, he smiled at me like nothing was wrong, like the world was still safe. And I realized something in that moment. The dream I was living in was mine alone. That night, I did not sleep. I lay on my bed, staring at the dark ceiling, and the truth started arranging itself inside. My mind, like broken pieces, finally fitting together. His quiet pauses when I asked about his past. His eyes that looked far away, even when he was holding my hand. The way he sometimes went silent after laughing. I always thought he was just tired. Just stressed. Just someone who needed patience. But now, I saw it differently. He was not tired. He was somewhere else. Somewhere I could never reach. I remembered all the times I felt like I was waiting for him to fully arrive, waiting for him to love me with his whole heart. But he never did, because his whole heart was not available. It was already tied to someone else. And suddenly, my kindness felt heavy. Not because kindness is wrong, but because I gave it to someone who was only using it to survive. I was not his love. I was his quiet place. A soft bed for a wounded heart. A warm room for a man who was still living in another story. I was the pause he needed, not the future he wanted. And that realization did not feel like anger. It felt like grief. Grief for the life I imagined. Grief for the girl inside me who believed she was finally chosen. Grief for the way I loved him, with new fear. In the morning, I looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes were tired. My face looked quiet, not dramatic, just older, not by years, by understanding. When he came into the kitchen, he greeted me like always. He asked if I slept well. His voice was gentle. That was the hardest part, because he was not a monster. He was not cruel in obvious ways. He was simply not MeeMee. And I realized something important. Sometimes the deepest pain is not caused by hate. It is caused by softness that is not real. I did not shout. I did not accuse him like a judge. I just said his name calmly, and I asked softly, "Who is she?" His face changed, not with anger, with fear, with hesitation, with the same silence I had felt for months. And in that silence, he answered everything. He tried to explain. He said it was complicated. He said he was trying to move on. He said he did not want to hurt anyone. But those words did not enter my heart, because my heart had already stepped back. I looked at him and I felt something surprising. Not rage, not hate. Just a tired kind of clarity, like finally waking up from a dream that was beautiful, but not real. So I did not beg him to choose me, because I understood something. If someone needs to be convinced to love me, then it is not love. I told him I was leaving. He looked shocked. He asked me to stay. He said he cared, but caring is not the same as choosing. And I was done being someone's temporary comfort. I packed slowly, not like a storm, like a quiet goodbye. And when I closed the door behind me, I did not feel strong yet. I just felt free from pretending. The first days after I left were painful, not dramatic pain, not movie pain, real pain. The kind that comes in waves when you are alone in your room, when you reach for your phone and remember you should not call. I missed And that made me angry at myself. Because how can the heart miss someone who did not truly hold it? But love is not logical. Love remembers warmth. Even if the warmth was incomplete, some nights I cried quietly. Some mornings I felt empty. But little by little, something new began to grow under the pain. Respect. For the first time, I stopped asking, why wasn't I enough? And I started asking, why did I accept less than I deserved? That question changed me because the truth was simple. I was enough. I always was. I just gave my love to a man who was still holding someone else's shadow. And I realized something that felt like power. Being alone is painful, but being used is worse. Loneliness with dignity is lighter than love without truth. Chimi pesci. And the pain changed shape. It became smaller, softer. It stopped sitting in the center of my chest. It moved to the side, like an old scar that no longer bleeds, but still reminds you where you learned. I began to return to myself. I cleaned my home like I was clearing space inside my heart. I played music again. I took walks without checking my phone every few minutes. I started to feel proud of small things, getting through a day without crying, eating a full meal, laughing at something small. And one morning, I noticed something. I looked at myself in the mirror again. And this Chimi, I did not look older. I looked awake. Not because life became perfect, but because I stopped abandoning myself. I stopped trying to earn love. I stopped shrinking to fit into someone's half-heart. I finally understood I was not born to be someone's resting place. I was born to be my own home. And that is why I say this now with a calm voice. He did not break me. He showed me the truth. And the truth set me free. Because I am not someone's shadow anymore. I am my own light.